Hi, welcome back to Genesis Custom Sabers. You know, since the inception of the Crystal Focus version 10 by Plector Labs, I have yet to complete a GCS Elite level saber with this legendary sound card. Until today. I give you Whillsong. This is my latest high-end saber. It's an aged, very aged, and weathered saber, complete with all my best work. This is my Rogue sound font. As you can tell, it just moves beautifully with the saber. The saber works great. But whether you're light side or dark side, you've got all the options you want with this saber. When it's off, I hold down the auxiliary button.
Sound bank selection.
Now I'm in the menu. This is an excellent saber for my new Ashes sound font. You can put multiple sound fonts in this saber. Comes with like 18, all of my sound fonts. It's a really fun saber to use and really beautiful to look at, and even more beautiful on the inside, which I'll get to in a minute. Okay, so this video is going to serve as the operating instructions for the new owner, as well as showing off some of the features of this saber. I'll do some close-ups in a moment so you can see, but the overall design was intended to be a classic lightsaber with some unique machining and features, but heavily aged and weathered, and using my gauntlet weathering, or my gauntlet etching pattern, which is, I call it my gauntlet pattern because it was kind of partially inspired by Sauron's gauntlet in Lord of the Rings, but mostly was a depiction of the wills. So you've got light side and dark side iconography and images throughout the pattern. The saber is going to come with a blade plug, and so that's removable with a blade retention screw. You don't want to hold that too tight. And you might notice also there's no recharge port on the exterior of the saber. It is an internal battery, but I'll get to that in a minute. So to operate it, you just wake it up from sleep mode. Oh, it was woken up. You'll see that you can get some of the glow through the blade plug. That's the activation button. This is the auxiliary button for your blaster blocks. Well, I'll show you that. To remove the blade plug, it's very fragile. It's a resin, so you don't want to tighten the blade plug too much and crack off any of these tines. You have the NeoPixel blade, which will come with the saber. And it goes in all the way, and then the blade retention screw is a low-profile blade retention screw. It's inset in there, so you really need to kind of get a good grip on that. Fortunately, it's knurled, so it is a nice stainless steel screw. And your blade's in, activation button, you get your blade and your blade effects. And of course there's all different blade effects. So to change the color, you just hold both buttons down. Now you're in spectrum, and you rotate the saber through all the different colors, and you select one that you like. And then you can tap the button, which will save it, or you hold it. Now you're in blade profiles, and you can cycle through all kinds of really interesting different blade profiles and pick one that works best for you. Now it's saved. And you'll remember that when you come back around to that sound font. Of course, this saber is suitable for, I'm saying medium or moderate drooling because it's NeoPixel. You don't want to wreck your NeoPixel blade, but also because of some of the internals, which I will show you. Oh, also want to point out aged D-ring on the saber rather than cover tech. So the saber comes apart there. I'm not permitting taking apart of any other part of the saber. That would void the warranty, but it's very simple to unscrew the saber right here and lay aside this section, and you will see you have a crystal chamber with a crate pearl which glows and pulses with whatever the blade color is. So if you turn on the saber, I don't permit people to use the saber in this configuration because it's fragile. You might break something, so don't put a blade in it and fight and use with it in this configuration. But if you want to sample, you can see that it will change through all the different blade profiles. And the color the crystal will change color. You've also got the OLED screen, which shows different animations and things. I'll do a close-up of that a little bit later. And over here, I'm going to turn it off. Over here you've got your recharge port. So that's where you plug in your battery charger, which will come supplied with this saber, and you can charge up your battery that way, or you can reboot it. I also will include a couple of these tiny kill keys, which you can insert, and that will shut off power to the saber. That's for rebooting it, or for long-term storage. It is possible to screw on the second half of the saber with these low-profile kill keys in place. Also going to point out that the saber will come with this Allen key, which works in this tiny screw right here, and you can work over a flat surface. You can undo that screw, whoops, and I try to keep it with the Allen key. It's easier to put it on then, and you'll see that the chassis actually comes loose. Now the chassis is attached with wiring harness through here and through here, so you don't want to stretch or damage the wires too much, but you are able to get the chassis out enough that you're able to get access to the SD card, and you can pop that out, put that in your computer, and make changes to the configuration of the saber or sound fonts, whatever you'd like, and then when you're ready you just line it up, make sure it clicks. You've also got access to your micro USB port if you want to plug in to the computer for the RICE operations, the real-time internal configuration editor, and then when you're ready, you don't press on the OLED screen. You're able to just gently put that back in place. The screws will automatically line up, and then it's just simply a matter of gently tightening. You don't want to over tighten any screws that are working with aluminum or plastic, so just gently snug, and then everything's in there rock solid and ready to go. So that's how to operate this saber. I'll give you some close-ups here to show off kind of some of the work I did on the internals. I wanted to point out some of the detail in the saber. You can see some battle damage, as well as the weathering, which I worked really hard on, and that really offsets the etching nice, and there's a lot of aging went into that, some battle damage in the pommel as well. Just subtle things. Of course, the chassis is a weathered paint. You've got your knurled ring here, and just where the paint's chipped off, and you've got weathering. So I'm really happy. This is a 3D printed part that is able to match some of the look of the metal with some techniques. And of course, well, I'll boot it up here. You can see your crepe pearl comes on there. Use your OLED screen. If you tap the auxiliary button, you cycle through. That's the battery level, the sound font that it's currently on, and there's some animations in there, things like that. Of course, the crystal pulses and the color of the blade, and you can see there's a lot of detail in this crystal chamber. These wire harnesses are actually antique wire harnesses that I've had sitting around for a couple of years that I got when I was working on a film, and I've been just dying to use them in a saber just because they've got this, they're really stiff, and they've got this beautiful antique feel to them. And so the wires that run through these antique wire harnesses, and there's genuine brass and copper that's all aged in the crystal chamber. I'm really happy with how the saber came out. So that's how to operate this saber. When you're ready, you can just, of course, screw the lower half of the saber back in until it locks and everything's lined up, and you're ready to go. So that's this new saber. It's going up for auction, which will end May the 4th. May the 4th be with you, 2021. I hope the new owner is as pleased with it as I was to create it. Thanks again for watching. If you like these videos, please subscribe to my channel and click the little bell thing so you're notified whenever I come up with something new. Until next time.